Namaste. Welcome to yet another episode of Accomplished Women by Thought Habitat Speaks. So far, we covered two Bollywood celebrities, two leading academicians in South India, and a lot of women entrepreneurs. One includes a liquor baron, and one includes a young girl who ventured into entrepreneurship, and a lot of veteran women entrepreneurs too. So, in between all that, we were just missing certain aspects. One aspect is definitely social empowerment. You know, empowering another individual is where we all find strength in. We all don't become stronger just by empowering ourselves, but we become stronger by empowering others. Only when you empower others, you feel that strength in you to go and do things on your own, right? And Aditi Gera is one such person. She's a testament to that, and that is why she was among the few who won the Princess Diana Award in UK. She hails from Ujjain and she runs this organization called Empower It. And you know what? She's only 20 years old. And yeah, this is the best example of saying we get empowerment by empowering others, right? So, according to Aditi, gender inequality exists in all forms in the society. So she had set up Empower It, which is a one-to-one mentoring program for young girls from underprivileged background. Through Empower It, she's been empowering rural girls to become policymakers, representatives, and stakeholders in decision-making process. Right? And she saw a seismic shift in the mindset of the local community towards women as a result of her work so far. So, without much delay, let us hear from Aditi. Aditi, welcome to the show. And I must really say, after interviewing a lot of people, coming across girls like you is really quite empowering for me, first of all.
Thank you so much, Arvind. That's incredibly kind of you, and I'm so glad that you find this empowering in all senses. So thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited for the conversation ahead, of course, and looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. And Aditi, I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
So, number one, when you say that I'm going to do something new, I'm going to do something different, disruptive, transformative, and definitely a lot of people would come at your back and front saying that no, this is not going to happen, you're going to fail, so don't do it, just leave it. Did you have such experiences?
Well, yes, there were not just one of those experiences, there were many of it. So, when I started Empowered, I was about to turn 19. So, I was just in the first year of my college and was dealing with the curriculum at studies as well and all the other things that happens when you are a full time student. So, there were, of course, first thoughts and self doubt that whether I would be able to do this or not. So that was one of the main challenges that you have to overcome yourself and your doubts and your fears to start something that you're passionate about. And I always used to think since I was a kid that I wanted to work in social space, but maybe I would do it once I would grow old, have a career set up, or maybe when I would be financially stable and have an income coming. But then I just realized that some things just struck me at that point, and I was like, I shouldn't be waiting for this long to do something when I really want to. So maybe the best thing to start right now is to start with whatever I have, and that was probably the experiences of it, of being a woman in a small city or in a society where just the patriarchy takes the most of you. So that was one thing. Another was, of course, convincing parents was one of the thing. Oh, my I come from a very supportive family. Luckily, I have the privilege of growing up with supportive parents. But just the thought of making them understand that how am I going to actually make it happen? Being just 19 myself, how am I even thinking of empowering somebody else was one of a process in itself. Then we followed by building a team. So I spoke to my friends. I remember vividly that the first set of friends I spoke to, they dropped out of the idea because they just felt like that maybe this couldn't happen, or we don't know what to do about it. But then randomly I was at a dinner party with one of my friends' birthday, and I just happened to discuss the idea with them, that I'm just thinking of something like this. We grew up in the same school, studying together for 10 years in a girls' school itself. So we were very comfortable and acknowledged with the experiences we had in growing up in a all girls environment, which is not so supportive. So we related a lot to that we need to build a support system for other younger girls and need to have a sense of sisterhood among them as well. So they liked the idea a lot, and then we just went on to form the team. However, the main concern and the challenge we had was we were just 19 years old. What are we going to do? Who are we going to convince about it? So we started speaking to our parents, our friends, and we started seeking connections. Then we identified the communities in our local area, in our city itself. We reached out to a few shelter homes, and we just heard no as a reply. I remember we went to this one shelter home which where like Adivasi girls stay, and we wanted to work with them because even if they go to school, we felt like that there could be a lot more that we can teach them. Of course not because we are experts, but because just that we come from a privileged section where we do have the privilege of growing up in a supportive and more informative society. So we just wanted to pass on those experiences to them. However, like we heard no from the organizational authorities. They were more on the part of that you could conduct maybe monthly workshops, but we won't probably allow a full-fledged mentorship program running here. Then we went on to seek a lot more people and a lot more authorities. We heard mostly no from the government because it was like, what are you just going to do? You are just very young yourself. So that was the main concern that came up again and again. However, with the help of a few supportive people around us, we were able to start our operations at this one government campus where girls from rural girls are living in the city. So we started working with them. Then there were challenges with them as well, which we just tried to dig deeper into, making a comfort with them, helping them come out of their personal space because they were very shy speaking their names in the first session itself. So that was the whole challenge, that you are here to build a leadership, you are here to build communication and confidence, but the girls here are not even comfortable speaking their names out. And we understood the problem very well. They grew up in a society like this, so it was not a fault of their own, but it was the fault of where they have been, their upbringing has been done. And we wanted to change that thought perspective, that they are just very limited to where they are growing. We wanted for them to realize that their ability is beyond the sky that they have been living under. So those were some of the initial challenges we dealt with. However, how I see is it, when you are a young person, and especially when you come from a background where there's not a lot of support system around you, there's not a lot of sense of support in our Indian culture itself, where young people are promoted into entrepreneurship or even specifically in social entrepreneurship. So that's why we lack change makers into the society. However, once we build a support structure around us that could empower these people, I think every other person would want to do something that they're passionate about. And it's just that they need to realize that yes, there are people around you who would support you. So when we talk about a society where everyone could be a change maker, everyone could actually do something, it's just that they need to realize their own potential to do it. And you walk the path and the path emerges itself. This is something my mentor tells me, and this is a quote by Rumi as well. So yes, that's it. That those were the challenges we faced initially.
It was quite a comprehensive answer, in fact. And yeah, you were on fire. And so, Aditi, you did mention that girls were very hesitant to speak out their name itself in open, right? So,
Yeah.
similarly, what was the most troubling part in empowering women to independently pursue a career for themselves?
Yes. I think this is a great question because this has been the biggest challenge into working into women empowerment spaces. Because you would want to find operational challenges and scaling challenges into the organization, but the biggest challenge always lies into the beneficiaries you are working with. So, what we identified there was, even if we go on to overcome every other thing that we are facing personally, the biggest thing that we need to overcome is gender inequality itself. So what remains as a constant thought when we are working with young girls is that how do you go on to shift their mindset from where they have been growing up in. They grew up watching their mothers, their grandmothers, in a way that they felt like, okay, we have to attain a specific education, we have to just maybe gain a basic education, then we would go on to get married, have children, and that's it about life. So that's a sort of mindset that these young girls were very comfortable with in the first place, because rural society in India is very comfortable with the ideas of patriarchy deeply rooted into it, and the claws of it are so attached to every individual's mindset that they don't know there's anything beyond that. So when we work with young girls on developing a full-fledged career for them, supporting them for it, the first question that they ask is, what is the need of it? What am I going to do with this career? And of course, that's valid for them to ask, because they do not realize where the world exists and how is it waiting for them to arrive itself. So the biggest thing that we found there was the difficulty in shifting the mindset. However, it went on to change when you show them the examples of some of the influential leaders into the space. So if you show them a female leader coming from a similar background like them and having went ahead to achieve the most out of the world, they would just go on to realize that yes, she's somebody like me, and if she could do it, then maybe I could do it as well. So the biggest key and the main factor here is you show them the examples that you could do it, and once they are familiar with it, once they relate to those examples, then they are thinking among themselves that yes, maybe this is also something I want to have for myself. This is the sense of success I want to feel as well. So working with young girls is a very sensitive thing in itself, that there are more things than professional capacity as well that you are dealing with. They lack a support structure at home. Some of them come from abusive backgrounds as well at home. Some of them don't have supportive families as such. Some of them are dealing just with the consequences of having a basic education for themselves, and this is a struggle in itself. And then when to go on, when like the instances where you go on to talk about a career out of it, then it becomes a challenge in itself, not just through how you're going to do it, but also in ways how you're going to shift your mindset and the mindset of people around you, that they want to support you for this career. You yourself want to achieve this no matter what the difficulties you are going to face. So yes, those are the two things. One is the difficulty lies there. Another is it could be decreased with the examples you go on to show them.
There's like so much happening around, and yeah, I do agree. It gets difficult for many girls to convince their parents first that yes, I have to pursue a career.
Yeah.
So my next question, Aditi. So, what do you consider as the biggest achievement of empowerment so far?
Right. Um, I think I would probably just point it out again to what I was saying earlier, that shifting the mindset is the most difficult thing. But once you're able to do that, it's probably the most beautiful thing as well. So Empower It has been, of course, professionally been recognized through some of the organizations. We have had some great partnerships done. We have been working with the government in government campus in our city. Then we received recognition from national societies and international award sections as well. But what definitely lies to be the biggest achievement is on twofold parts. So one is on our personal part, that we kept going despite the difficulties. We are just a team of young people, 19, 20, 21-year old girls, and we have had personal things. Of course, we are right now studying full time as in universities, and we have been doing building our career in professional aspects as well, doing internships, a full time job right now. So it goes on to be difficult on the part of keeping your passion a fuel for what you need to do, because just the daily routine of life becomes so rigorous and occupied that it becomes difficult to find time out. However, when there's a passion, you always find a way out. So we had one thing for clear, that no matter where we go, even if we go on to move cities, and even if we go on to shift somewhere differently and pursue a different career altogether, Empower It is definitely going to be something we all would keep working at in different parts or at different spaces. So I think the biggest accomplishment is the commitment you hold with yourself, that this is something you want to bring a change in, and you are constantly working on it, no matter what your personal life is looking like. And another is, of course, shifting the mindset of the people you are working with. So as I was saying that during the first sessions, most of the girls at the government campus weren't comfortable speaking their name to us. They were very shy that, okay, who are these strangers, we don't know how to even communicate with them. They were not even replying to hello or hi, and we used to push them a lot that maybe you could just tell me your name, where are you from. And these were some of the most difficult questions for them to answer. And then during our ground sessions and after it, like we were able to develop so much of comfort and confidence into those girls that some days ago my mentee called me to ask what a particular thing in English means. So she was like, okay, what is the meaning of what the hell, because I just want to learn English. So I heard it somewhere and I want to know what it means. So there are many instances like this where now our mentees are so much interested in learning a new language. They're so much open to conducting group activities together, taking part in street plays along with us, and learning more and more things. And even sometimes, like whenever we could go on to get away from the track, but they stay very much on it that this is something we want to learn. And we missed today our informatics session, we missed today our speech giving session. So they go on to remind us. And going back to the first session where they were not even speaking their names, to now being them so curious to learn and being so confident into everything they have been learning from us, I think that has been the biggest compliment, biggest achievement, and of course the compliment as well for the organization itself, that we have been able to bring a change in mindset. And this is how we plan to go on to bring a system change as well into the society.
That's really interesting to know, Aditi. So, Aditi, apart from this, now that you have a new feather in your cap, right? You're felicitated with Princess Diana Award. So, of course, like we all are very happy that you being an Indian getting that award is a privilege for the entire country. So, would you like to tell us the significance of this award?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So, Princess Diana Award has been set up after the legacy of Princess Diana, who was one of an individual, a very select individuals into that society, who believed in the strong power of youth to create a difference. And she herself was full of passion and kindness and courage and empathy for bringing a change in society. So she left after a legacy of empathy and kindness where she believed in the power of young people, and both her sons are also associated with the organization of the award organization. So Princess Diana Award supports young people into their change making journeys. They help them amplify their voices and their movements. So I think the biggest significance for it into our journey would be being an international recognition. It would help us a lot to scale our efforts in creating an impact for other people as well. Currently our operations are mostly based in small rural parts of India. However, we go on to expand it to the entire country and launch even more programs that would help women empowerment in some way. So, receiving Princess Diana Award isn't just more of a recognition, it's about all more about the responsibility of carrying the legacy forward. And of course, helping more young people around us to create something passionate for themselves and to create an impact into the society if they care about. It's more about showing an example to other young people that if we can do it, then of course you can go ahead and do something for yourself and others as well, because it's very much possible. I used to have a lot of doubts when I started, and then now looking back at 2019 all the way to 2021 now, I think we just went on to find a lot of people into this journey who actually supported us, and there were many challenges that we overcame. So Dyna Award is one such organization that support young people, and I'm sure that this recognition would help us in having more opportunities into the future for younger girls that we work with. And even before this, the way we've made it to Dyna Award was because of the Ashoka Innovators for Public. So it's a network of social entrepreneurs. It's an organization that's 40 years old that works for young people and social entrepreneurs into the country. Before Dyna Award, I was selected as Ashoka Young Changemaker, who are like a select few Indians to be selected into the every year's program. So that has been a huge help as well. And it's just that once you start, there are people and organizations that would get along with you, that would get aligned with your mission, and they would just fuel your passion to work towards what you really want to. Because if you just want to identify opportunities for yourself, I think it becomes very easy to work on something despite the challenges. It's the passion that keeps you going, and we are glad that Diana Award recognized us in this way.
It's really wonderful to know. And Aditi, one last question. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're too young, and so is Empowered, and so is your mission. So, what's the roadmap now?
Right. Currently our operations at Empowered have been shifted to virtual mentorship. Earlier it used to be ground sessions, but since like all of our girls are living at their homes now, leaving the campus because of the pandemic, we have shifted to virtual mentorship sessions. However, once it's safe to come back to ground session again, we would be expanding Empowered's chapters into more cities in India. So we would be doing a chapter call for more people to apply as chapter leaders into their specific cities and take the moment there where they could start a mentorship program as well. Along with this, we also do digital advocacy for mental health on social media platforms. So we have been able to reach a lot of people through creating awareness for mental health, because we just felt that in the last lockdown in 2020 there were huge surge in cases for mental health issues, and we started working over it. Now again, after 2 years of living in a pandemic, we felt that gender inequality has taken a shape of its own pandemic itself, and it has been hidden so far. There has been so many gaps into the society. There has been so many women who fell out of the labor force, who fell out of the employment. And now especially that everyone is at home because of the pandemic and the lockdown, women do not have chances to speak about their problems and the issues they face. So it's mostly about that, since a lot of women are living at home, they could be going through many different experiences with their family members. There could be instances of domestic violence as well. So now we aim to launch a program working towards domestic violence cases in India. And we would be partnering with shelter homes and NGOs for a survivors program, where we would go on to empower these survivors uh, through connecting them with more people who they could share their stories with. And we are still in very much in the process of planning the program. But yes, the roadmap ahead is of course the mentorship program in more cities in India, advancing the movement of having rural girls at the forefront of shaking and breaking glass ceilings for gender equality. And again, of course, doing women empowerment in more ways than we can, that is supporting domestic violence survivors because of the lockdown, and helping young women, and of course other working women getting into the labor force again. Then there were the individual family members who passed away because of the very horrendous acts of COVID-19 second wave we faced. So there are now single widow who are living into the families as the sole member who has all the responsibilities of their children. So we are now planning many different programs to empower these women, where they could either get into the workforce again, or they could have a support system if they have been facing instances of violence or abuse because of the lockdown at home. So these are some of our ideas for ahead. And personally as well, like we are growing professionally in our careers, but however this is something that we would always keep working upon, because that's just the commitment we have with ourselves. That's just how we want to create a change around us.
Quite a commitment to being so young, Aditi. So, all the best for all your future endeavors. We would like to see more from you, and I'm sure that you're gonna be felicitated with more global awards in the coming years for all the good work you're doing. So, all the best, Patrick.
Thank you so much, Arvind. It was a pleasure having a conversation with you, and I'm so glad you gave us space for this. So thank you so much.